So last time we did a multiplayer game, and this time we're gonna do a single player game. I think that'll, if people are interested in learning how to play a little bit more, I'll be able to talk through things since there's no turn timer. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do today's daily challenge, which just reset 1 minute ago, because it resets every day at 0 GMT. So I haven't tried it yet. And you can see the objective for today is control 40 hexes and eliminate one player. And once you complete it once, you'll see the scores for everybody else up on the leaderboard. But if anybody's got any questions, you know, I can take my time because it's not a multiplayer game. And so drop them in chat there on the Steam chat or on Twitch. All right, start it. All right, so Hexarchy is a 4X deck building game. It's a historical 4X game in the vein of the Civ games and Humankind and all that. It's designed to be played in one sitting. With the default settings, games take less than an hour. And it's built from the ground up for multiplayer, but there's also full support for playing single player. You can see you can be one of 10 civilizations. Right now I'm England, and that's just random for the daily challenge. So with the daily challenge, everybody gets the exact same map. You're the same civ. You start with the same cards, and you just see if it becomes kind of a puzzle if you do it more than once. You just try and optimize your decisions for the specific objectives of the challenge. All right, so I'll go and start. You can see my objectives up there in the top left. I need to control 40 hexes, and I need to eliminate one player. So I don't know how many players there are. There could be just one other player. There could be 5 or 6. But I just need to kill one of them. Alright, so the first card you're always going to play is the Found Capital City card. You can see it's glowing green there because I can play it. And then first decision you make is where you put your capital, which is a really important decision. So it's recommending we go over here because of the iron gem, or no, it's not iron, the stone gem hex right there and the horses. Or over here because of this food probably. And you actually got horses and sheep as well. Because I'm trying to kill an enemy player as fast as possible to complete the objective, I think it looks like there's more of the map over here as opposed to this one choke point right here. I don't know if there's more mountains over here or not. So I want to put myself as close to an enemy player as possible. So I'm going to go over here. Alright. First thing I'm going to do is use England's special ability called Import. Every civ has a special ability card. And England's allows you to collect 1 or 2 resources that you don't currently have in your inventory, and I'll explain the resources more in a minute. So I'm gonna play that card. So you got some food, some stone. Alright, so you can pick up food resources and you can distribute them amongst your cities however you want. So if you have more than one city, you can decide which city to feed the food to. And I dropped it on London, and that was enough to make London actually grow to 2 population on my first turn, which is good. And because of that, I'm going to put a warrior in London this turn. All military units and settlers consume a population when you build them. So population is actually one of your most important resources. Like, you can't raise a large army unless you have a large population. So that's something that's quite a bit different from the Civ games. Alright, so I'll explain the other stuff next turn. So I've done everything I can this one turn. I'm getting my turn. You can see the Z's on the guy after I built him. The turn you build someone, you can't move him. Alright, so down here is the most important resource information you have. The most important resource is hammers. That's your civilization's production. And the way hammers work is a lot like mana in a card game. The main resource that you spend to play cards is hammers. So you can see I got 5 per turn right now, and I'm getting 5 production from London. And you can see the costs in the top left of the cards. There's several different types of cards. The blue cards are tech cards. You play tech cards to add new cards to your deck. The green cards are promotions. That's how you customize and upgrade your units. And that's actually all I got right now, so I'll explain the other ones when they show up. So the question is whether or not do I want to go ahead and send this guy out to try and find bad guys, or do I want to collect this hut. The huts have random bonuses in them. I think I'm going to go ahead and head out. And I'm going to actually promote this guy already. Every unit starts with 1 promotion slot by default. You see that gray box in the top right of the card? You get more promotion slots by surviving battles. So every time the unit fights and doesn't die, it gets another slot. If you build a unit on a barracks instead of in your cities, he also starts with 2 slots. So that way you end up, if you have a guy that has been through a lot of fights, you can basically turn him into a super unit that's really hard to kill with all kinds of different customizations on it based on the promotion cards that you choose to add to your deck. All right, so I'm going to add the simplest promotion to strength. That just gives him 25 more strength, 25% more strength. So he's got 6 attack now instead of 4. I think it actually gives you a minimum of +2. Yeah, I think it gives you a minimum of +2 strength regardless of the percentage. All right, so I already told him to go over there. So next thing I'm going to do is research agriculture. And I'm going to get... Do I want the farm or do I want the pasture? The pasture would let me get these sheep and these horses. The farm would give me more food. I think I'm going to do pasture. I'm going to try and get horses. Horses are really good if you're being really offensive. In fact, I might just go ahead and get horseback riding first. So you pick one of the... So these are the 4 cards that you get for researching agriculture. You pick one that goes into your hand immediately, and the other ones go into your discard pile. You can see over here. Every time you run out of cards in your deck, the discard pile gets shuffled and becomes your new deck. So I'm going to go and do horseback riding because I don't want to wait to get that, and I can actually buy a horse right now. And I'm going to see. I'm going to destroy mysticism. And research horseback riding. Buy a horse. And I'm going to save my horseman card for next turn. Also going to save that for next turn. Alright, I'll explain those in a second. Alright, let's go ahead and get this moving. I didn't turn. Alright, still haven't found anybody. That's not good. I'm trying to eliminate somebody as fast as possible and I haven't found anyone yet. I also need 40 hexes, which is quite a few. Alright, since I'm having trouble finding people, I'm going to build a scout. And I'll send him this way. So my warrior's going this way. Scout will go up this way. I'll probably move him onto this hills hex right here. Alright, so the yellow cards are civics. And they behave kind of like the technology cards in that they add new cards to your deck. But there's 3 types: economic, government, and religion. And you can only have one of each type active at a time. So if I adopt an economic civic, and it gives me 2 cards. If I adopt a different economic civic, I lose the 2 cards from the first one. So I'm gonna adopt hunter-gatherers as my economic civic. And I'm going to use the Forge card, which allows you to collect the resources off a hex that can be pretty far away from your territory. I'm actually going to use it to collect the horses in my territory, though, because you need 2 horses to build a horseman. So I got the 2 horses down here now, and you can see that a horseman costs 1 hammer and 2 horses. So now I can build him. Oh, actually I can't build him because I already built a guy in the city this turn. Next turn I can build him. Purple cards are wonders, and They behave kind of like the wonders in a Civ game, where each one has a special bonus, a special effect. Hanging Gardens reduces the food required to grow all your cities, and they also produce resources. I don't think I need that for this, because I'm really just concerned with territory and wiping out one of these other civs. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to leave that. Alright, move my warrior into the desert here. He's getting kind of far away from my city too, which you'll see that there's you have to pay upkeep costs on guys. And the further they are from your cities, the larger the upkeep. So I got to be careful here, because I don't have a lot of gold. Oh, found somebody. Great. Okay, this is good too, because the terrain to get over here is completely flat, which means it's great for horses. I can build a horse in here and probably get him over here pretty darn quick. Alright, so I'm gonna put the pasture on that horse because I want lots of horses. And instead of going over here like I thought I was, I'm gonna go collect this hut with my scout. Maybe there'll be something good in there. And let's go ahead and build my first horseman. And I'll use England's import ability to try and get some more resources. So maybe that would be cool. No, did not give me horses. Gave me luxury resources though. That's good. Luxury resources are kind of like the food resources, in that you can pick them up and drop them on whatever city you want. You see the bottom bar below a city name is the happiness meter. The city, London's happy right now, so we're pretty happy. They got one bubble missing. So it's not really a problem yet, but I'm going to go and give them one more. No, they're all the way happy. You can see there's no, you take a penalty from the yield you collect on tiles if the city's not all the way happy, and the angrier they are, the bigger the penalty. Yeah, it would be great if I had another horse, because I could use one of these abilities, but I don't. Alright, so I don't have any more hammers, and I've given all my guys orders, so I'll end my turn. Oh, I got 3 settlers, that's good. Alright, see how far this horseman can make it in one turn. Alright, so 2 turns to get to Memphis. That's not bad. And there's 2 units. You got 2 scouts in Memphis. So when your guys attack, by default, you know, they only attack 1 time, and you can stack up units. So I can't kill both these scouts in 1 turn with my warrior, but I might as well try and kill one of them. So I'll tell my warrior to attack Memphis, and I'm going to tell this scout to go collect this other hut, even if it takes him 2 turns. And that's great that I got a settler, because I can move him. I need to get 40 hexes also. That's the other objective. And so founding another city would help with that. So I'm going to send the settler, yeah, over here. I'm going to put the city here, because when you build a city, it automatically claims all the hexes around it. And when you claim a holy site, this thing right here with the exclamation mark, that will automatically claim the hexes around it. And remember, I'm trying to get 40 hexes, so that's good. Alright, now I'm going to destroy my warrior card. I'm not building any more warriors. Destroying your cards is a really important part of the strategy in this game. You know, it is a deck building game, and you add cards with text and civics, and then you destroy cards that you don't want anymore. Well, I mean, the mistake people tend to make early on is they don't destroy enough cards. Like, you really got to try and optimize your strategy for your situation, and if you got to make some sacrifices. And yeah, you might think it's good to not get rid of this card because you might want it at some point, but you got to remember that the games are quite short. So if you're not going to use it pretty soon, it's probably a good idea to get rid of it. All right, I bought another horse. So what do I want to do here? here. I think I might get masonry because that'll let me get roads, which will make my guys move faster. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and I can get the road this far. Should go ahead and do that. Or if I go the other way, maybe I'll build it the other way, and that'll help me get to Memphis faster. So if I move this guy now, yeah, I still can't quite make it in one turn. But he'll end up on this hut. That's good. I'll collect the hut. Maybe I'll get lucky with something there. Alright, so I've ordered all my units. I don't think I'm going to be able to build anything else this turn. I can promote my horseman, though. Give him more strength. Just to make sure he's strong enough to take out Memphis. And like I was saying, like I don't think I'm going to be having any coastal cities here. And a fishing hut is for collecting resources in the water. I'm going to destroy it. And that's all the resources I got. And I'm going to stash this for next turn. And give that salt luxury resource to London so they stay happy. Might save my farm. I may not destroy that yet. You got another guy in there. Kill one. Resources. Alright, would have been nice to get a military unit, but you can see the gold that came out of my inventory and went to these guys at the end there. That's the upkeep cost that they have for, especially for being quite far away from the city. And also you can see that I actually did not have enough gold to pay this guy's full upkeep. And if I don't find a way to give him more gold this turn, he'll start taking damage, and he gets the need supplies debuff. So the red gold icon there shows you that, and then the red line shows the supply line that he has. So that's sometimes the terrain affects it. So if there was like woods here or something like that, that would make the cost more. Roads reduce it. So if I had a road going much further up here, the upkeep costs for these units would be less. And also it allows you to have some interesting strategies on defense as well. So if you had an enemy army that's attacking you, you might not have to kill it. You might just have to cut off their supply lines and then let the upkeep costs either drain your opponent's economy, or if you can't afford it, the units will start taking damage and eventually die. Alright, so I'm going to attack Memphis again. He got a settler and a scout, so that's not going to be enough to even stop that warrior. And I'll build my second city with this settler. You can see I took the holy site there, and that gave me all those hexes. I'm still only at 19 hexes though, so I'm going to need to build another settler and build more cities. Which, I have a settler right now. I think I should go ahead and use him. I'll put him in London. And I'll use this mobilize ability, which costs 1 horse, and I got 3 horses, to allow him to move on the turn that I built him. Normally units can't move until the next turn, but because I use that, I can move him this turn, and I'm going to go ahead and send him. Probably, you can't build cities in the desert. So I either want to put it here, which gets me the horse, but I don't know if I'm going to need even more horses. I think I'll put it here. And that puts the city closer to my army too, so their supply lines will be shorter. That gives me this silver resource, which I might not need. I should probably just do this. I don't really care about my people being too happy, as long as I can get hexes and take out an enemy player. Alright, I'll go here. You can always spend gold to draw more cards. I don't know if I mentioned that yet or not. And hammers are, if you don't use a hammer, it gets turned into a gold. You can also manually turn a hammer into gold by hitting this button. Or if you don't have any gold and you want to do something that costs gold, it'll automatically use your hammers. That's why when I did a draw card, it spent a hammer instead of a gold. And so you can see your inventory capacity down here in the bottom right. I can only hold 4 things between turns. That includes any cards that you want to save for next turn. So the other stuff will automatically get put up for trade to the other players. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and spend 5 of these so I don't trade them. And drop them on there. And because I filled up London's happiness bar all the way already, the extra luxury resources will give you a chance to just get victory points with that "We Love You" fireworks display. All right, I'm gonna destroy some things because I don't need that. I'm not gonna be building a lighthouse. I would like to build another horseman now. Can't because I already built a settler in London this turn. I'm a little worried that it's possible that he's got another city. I don't think he does because Rome's right here. I can see the purple hex, but we'll find out. Oh. Well, the bot foolishly attacked my warrior also. So Memphis is empty now. But I got a horseman here anyway, so I don't think it would matter. And I'm not going to, instead of... I don't want to burn Memphis down. I want to capture it because that'll give me a lot of hexes. 40 hexes. Yeah, you see this, the maintenance cost is getting really high over here. That'll help. Alright, so I'm going to tell my horse to attack first. Horsemen, they're good because they're really fast on flat terrain. They do a lot of damage. Their downside is they can't capture. So my horseman could pillage Memphis, but he couldn't capture it, and I want to capture it. So I'm also going to attack with my warrior, because I need to get my warrior in the city in order to control it. And I'm going to move my scout up here to see what's going on over here, to make sure Egypt doesn't have anybody else. And I think the rest of my hammers, I'm probably going to use most of them just to pay this maintenance cost, which will be less next turn again because I put a city down here. I don't really need any of this. Save the horseman just in case. Got all my guys paid, so they won't take any damage. I probably built an axe over there. But the horseman. Okay, that's good. And the fact that Rome moved a guy right here means I don't think Egypt has anything else over here. Alright, let's capture Memphis with my warrior. Use the capture ability. Oh, so close. They gave me... Okay, so it'll eliminate him next turn, I think, if that was his only city. I need 1 more hex to get to 40. So this might be the last turn. So military units can capture hex, any hex. If I had planned this better, I could have had a guy on one of these other hexes. Though probably my borders will probably expand through culture, which will get it for me. You know, just in case, just to encourage that to happen, I'm gonna build a road over here. Roads affect the cost of anything moving along it, and that includes your culture spread also. So, like the Civ games, culture. One of the things it does is it grows your borders automatically. But if you wanted it to grow in a specific direction, you could build a road off into outside the territory you control, and then because it's cheaper to grow along the road, that'll tend to be where your borders grow. Alright, so... Yeah, so these guys are... They're definitely going to have... There's going to be probably famine in Memphis. I might take some damage on my guys because of supply issues. But as long as this Axeman can't kill them and capture the city before I get to 40 hexes, it should be okay. It would be good, you know, I should go and build another guy in Memphis just in case. There we go. Might as well promote him too. Okay, now there's no way this Axeman he can't kill 3 guys in 1 turn. Alright, that's probably gonna do it. I think that'll be everything. So, let's see. I attacked the scout anyway. Yeah, agree. Got the exact number I needed. And Egypt's dead. That's it. So, you know, it's not a, you know, the default game mode is different, where your objective isn't just to do something like that, like something arbitrary, like controlling 40 hexes. Normally, you're trying to get to 100 points before everybody else. But this was, the challenges have the random objectives like that. And I could try it again in there's no one else on the leaderboard yet, just because it just rolled over. And it segments the scores in the leaderboard by first attempts and all attempts, because obviously you have a major advantage on your second attempt. You know where, like, if I was going to do this over, knowing where everything is would definitely change how you play. So that's why I split up the scores, because it's kind of a different challenge the first time you do it, since everything's unknown. All right, so let's go back to the menu. And I think what I'm gonna do now is I'll play a single player game, but I'll also queue for a multiplayer game. And if anybody wants to jump on, I'll put a message on our Discord. If anybody wants to jump on and do multiplayer, I'll be queued for that. I'll put a message on Discord about it. Oh, somebody's looking for one, actually, so we'll just do that. There we go. So give it 2 more minutes to see if anybody else jumps in. Yeah, so this will give me a few minutes just to talk a little bit more about the idea behind the game. The initial impetus for it was to make a historical 4X game that would actually work multiplayer, that was intended for multiplayer. I think, you know, most of the ones out there aren't really designed to be played in a single sitting, so that makes it difficult. And the simultaneous turns, they're kind of an afterthought, I feel like, in most 4X games, and everything in Hexarchy is built with that in mind. Everybody takes their turns at the same time. So, you know, there's very little waiting for other players. And most of the actions that you take when you're taking a turn will not directly affect what somebody else is doing on that turn. They're designed specifically with that in mind, so that it really feels like a turn-based game, even though you're playing multiplayer and everybody's playing at the same time. Like, you're never trying to race what somebody else is doing while they take their turn. To the extent you're trying to hurry, it's only about doing it before the turn timer times you out. So it doesn't kind of turn into a real-time game or anything like that when you're playing multiplayer. And because everybody's going at the same time, I mean, you could have 10 people in the same game and it still works great. It turns into a, you know, basically a 4X battle royale game. Hoping we get a couple other people, but Guess it'll just be the two of us. I don't know who this is, or if he's aware that I'm streaming it. But. Yeah, if anybody's got any questions about the game, put them in chat. I'm trying to pay attention to it. Yeah, so this tip right here, roads are important, but the downside is they can also be used as fast invasion routes for your enemies, which is definitely something to keep in mind, especially in multiplayer games. Alright, so I'm Rome this time, and because this is multiplayer, there is a turn timer. So I'll talk some about what I'm doing, but I also need to not dawdle too much. So I put my capital in this hut, because if you do that, you automatically get whatever's in the hut. That's also a really good hex, because it's got all this food right here. I'm gonna go and grow Rome to 2 population and put a settler on there. And because I don't see anybody, it looks like there's quite a bit of land in all directions. I don't think I'm really vulnerable here, which means I don't think I'm gonna be building warriors. Get rid of him. And I'm gonna go ahead and try and get a library next turn because I have stone from the hut. I can't save any more cards for next turn because I already have 3 out of 3. So my turn. Alright, let me do the library. The library will produce a science every turn. And you can see like the tech cards have the hammer cost up there, but there's that or written between them, or 1 science. So you could use 1 science to research a tier 1 tech instead of spending 2 hammers, which is by far the most efficient way to do it. Save that for next turn. So I can also buy a science off of trade right now. I'm gonna do that too. And get a pasture. Put a pasture on that cow. Get more food. I gotta move my settler. Where do I want to go? Go here. It's a little out there. It might be it's a little risky because I don't know what's over here. I don't know. Yeah, that may have been a mistake. That's a little too far. Okay, well I got Greece right there. And I think I could move the settler back, but if he attacks with a scout, the settler will die. So what I'm going to do is scouts can't attack cities. So I'm going to go and put down my city there, and that way I at least don't lose the settler. But I need to get a guy over there I need to get a military unit in the city fast. Especially if Greece is a player. Alright, I'll save the archer for next turn, and I'll do it then. Well, this could be good if I can keep Antium alive. I can use it as a military base to attack both England and Greece. I thought about building a barracks. So you can build units in a barracks instead of a city. I think I just want to put him in the city though. There's horses up here, so I could do horseback riding, but I don't know if I get all the way up there. I mean, I won't destroy it yet. don't think I'm really sacrificing population for anything, so I'll destroy slavery. I'm gonna need luxury resources. That's about my people are gonna get mad here pretty soon. And sheep's a luxury resource. Do I have any other ones? It's salt. Oh, and silver. So I need a pasture here and a mine here and here. You see Antium's already mad. You get some happiness bonus from your pals in your capital. So Rome's not all the way mad yet. Alright, so I'll put the pasture on the sheep. I don't think I want to grow Antium too much since they're already pissed off. I'll do masonry to get mine. And then put mine on the silver heads. And then I'm going to go ahead and move my archer up there. He'll be able to see further because it's on a hill. Library. It'll give me a lot of science. I'm just trying to tech up fast. So I got 2 libraries now. So I'm getting 2 science per turn. It's actually not my scale, that's China. The color, the banner's kind of similar. Alright, so I'm going to use Rome's infrastructure ability. I'm going to get rid of the lumber mill. I don't want that. I'm also going to get rid of harbor. So I don't have any coastal cities. Then infrastructure will make one of the improvements, or one of the buildings in my hand, cost 1 gold instead of whatever it normally costs. I did it to the mine, that's good. And I'll put that on the side. And I'm gonna buy these whales off trade. I'm just trying to keep my people from, once you get you can get into a happiness death spiral, where your people don't collect as much because they're mad. Makes it kind of hard to recover from. I want to prevent that. I thought there was something I could collect here. At least get some gold. Do a turn timer up there. So you always have enough time to do everything you want to do, but you might not have as much time to think about it as you want. So it puts time pressure on your making decisions, really, not you should have like the actions you actually need to take. You know, it's not an APM game where you need to have high actions per minute. It's just a matter of, it's kind of like if you played Hearthstone and the timer of those games. Like if you hit it, it's because you took a long time to decide what to do. And the length is dynamic based on how far you are into the game. It tries to keep it at a level where nobody will have to wait very long. But like I said, you should still have time to do what you need to do. All right, so I'm going to move my archer into Greece's territory, and I'll be on a hill here, so I'll at least be able to see what's going on over here, what kind of defense he has. And I think I'm going to go ahead and also put that barracks up that I was talking about, since it looks like I haven't seen anybody over here. It seems like I really just need to worry about up here. I don't have any iron, which is unfortunate. That's how you get the best mid-game military units. But I'm getting a lot of science, so I can tech out. so Athens is pretty well defended, it looks like. See, I'm in second place right now, and the goal is to get to 100 points. You can see what gives you points here. Oh, I'm not saying that again. It's a combination of your hexes divided by 2, your population, your military units. You get 5 points for holy site. You get points for wonders. I don't have any right now, though. I should probably fix that. And that we love you fireworks display buff, that gives you a point every time you get that to happen. So if people are super happy, you get extra points. All right, so he's got, you can see actually, you know, I think you probably can't see this on the stream because that's where I got my camera. But if you look in the bottom left, it tells you what units he has. And I'm mousing over him. In this hex, he's got a scout, an archer, and a settler. So it's not too bad, but I'm not going to be able to kill that with my archer. Not with one. So I could fortify here. I could try to pillage his farm. I could claim this hex. Which there's not really anything useful on it, though. I'm going to go ahead and claim it because it'll reduce the upkeep costs of my guy getting there. Someone's going to hang out there for a while. Yeah, who's talking? Alright, I'll try to do that all real quick there, Dan, so I didn't run out of time. And I don't know if this is a bot or a player. It could definitely be a player. Alright, I'm in first place now. And because I got those 2 libraries and I already have 1 science, I have 3, which means I can research engineering without spending any hammers. And the question is, do I want to go straight for gunpowder and get the best military units? Notre Dame is probably the best wonder in the game right now, so I could get that. Though I wouldn't be able to build it this turn without destroying cards. Let me just do that. I can destroy some cards. Destroy that. There you go. I'll build Notre Dame. Oh, China's up here. Okay, I was gonna build a city up there, but I still will. It's probably a little bit risky, but all right. So now I own this hex. I'm gonna fortify, and also I want to go ahead and promote this guy, which means that I don't want to destroy any of these cards. Actually, I might destroy the Colosseum because I have Notre Dame. And that makes all your cities happier. So Colosseums make your cities happier. I don't think I'm going to need to build them. I am pretty short of gold. Oh, that's not good. His border's expanded to right there. Might lose the settler. Not gonna need a fishing hut. Oh, I need coastal cities. And I'll try and save this guy, but if he's smart, he'll attack me with his archer and I won't be able to get away. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try and get a large army up here. I think that's the way to go. It's unfortunate I don't have stone or iron because that'd make it way easier to build a large army, but I'll do swordsman on the barracks. And when you build a guy on a barracks, the 2 benefits of that are 3 benefits actually. One, you can build them on the barracks as opposed to in the city. So you can put the barracks in a strategic location for building military units, even though you don't have a city there. It gives them an extra promotion slot. So you can see the swordsman has 2 already. And it also puts the card you use to build the guy back on your top of your deck. So if I draw another card now, I get a swordsman again. And I can build another one in the Antium. I was going to build a road through here. I don't know if I want to do that, though, because I don't want China to be able to attack me that easily. Yeah, I think the settler's going to die. I'm glad I didn't build a road there. Roads can definitely backfire. He could be able to get down there even faster than he already can. Though it's still not bad for him to get. He could get to the road probably in 1 turn because it's just flat. This would be a good spot to put a fort, which I just got. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I think this actually doesn't look too bad up here. I'm more worried about China now. So I'm gonna put a fort right there, and I'm gonna put a barracks here, so I can build guys closer to the front. Really like to have a military unit. I'm not building any more settlers, so destroy them. I'm not building any more libraries. I don't think I'm building more mines either. So get rid of that. More warehouses. I don't see any more animal resources, so no more pastures. I can't build a lighthouse because I don't have a coastal city. There we go. So I need... It'd be great if I could buy an iron, so I need 3 more hammers. I gotta destroy 3 more things. I'll do workshop, granary, and horseback ride. Oops. Alright, now I can build a spearman. It's like you should be able to get him in this fort next turn. I don't think I need 6 science. I want 4 because I want to research gunpowder. Greece is gonna take London. Oh no, that's not good. He moved. Yeah, I should have thought about that. He moved his guys into the fort before I could get there. That totally backfired. I needed to be able to. I should have put it back here. But actually, there's I couldn't have because there's a holy site there. I wasn't put it there. I should have thought about that. Well, I still have a guy here on a hill, and because you have zone of control, he can move into this hex. Yeah, if you attack, you can attack through zone of control. You can't move through zone of control. So if he's smart here, he'll attack into this hex to get past this guy. I'm gonna fortify that guy in the barracks, and then build 2 more spearmen. 1 in the barracks and then 1 in Rome. And what else should I get rid of? Get rid of the Axemen. And then I'm going to do this, I'm going to adopt the God King government civic. Get this divine favor card, which is a pretty powerful buff on one of your guys. I'll put it on this guy. Alright, now I got 3 guys ready to attack Athens. All he's got is 2 scouts, a settler, and a warrior. So I'm gonna tell them all to attack. And I'm gonna give them attack strength. Attack strength is it doesn't affect their base strength, which is their health and damage. It only affects the damage that they do. Really want gunpowder. Right. Haven't drawn it yet. It should come up next time, I think. Basically, my whole strategy was get as much tech early as I can. I feel like I should have gunpowder by now, but I don't have it. Yeah, so these guys are kind of buffed up. Okay, he attacked there. Alright, so that went really well. I think he must have attacked me too here, because I only had 3 guys, and I killed 4 of his, which can only happen if he also attacked. So I attacked him, and he attacked me. And I got, yeah, I think we won every fight. Those guys were weak. And I got a guy in Athens now, so I'm going to capture it. And you see, that got me a ton of points. That just put me up to 73 points. If there's any wonders in that, there's no wonders in there. It's unfortunate. But now I have a maintenance problem because of all this. I got 2 big cities pretty far away from a capital. So I think the best thing to do is... there's a lot of things I could do. I think I need to build a courthouse in Athens or an ATM, and I need to build roads so that they're connected. So I'll start with, so the courthouse is under, well, actually I could do this. Temple of Diana removes gold maintenance costs completely. If I can get, I can't afford it. I don't think I can afford a courthouse either though. I think I can't afford that. So that takes 6 hammers, and I try to destroy 2 cards then. Alright, I'll destroy the catapult. Actually, no, I destroyed 1 card. Alright, build a courthouse in Athens. So that'll reduce the gold maintenance cost by a lot. And they're really mad too, so I'll give them some luxury resources. It's still going to be, you can see I still have... I'm going to take some damage on my units because I don't have enough gold. That's okay as long as it's just for 1 turn. I need to get those guys out of that fort. Move this guy back here. I have to worry about this guy too. I think I can take care of him next turn. It's just a warrior. Ooh, healed. I pull back. Yeah, I think if this is a player that he probably didn't know. You see, I got all those debuffs because of a shortage of gold. He probably didn't know that what he should have done there is, unless he wanted this hex, like, which is possible, he might have wanted to take the barracks hex so he could claim it and then he could build guys there. He probably should have attacked into the holy site hex right here if he was trying to take Rome. Though I don't think he had a big enough army though, because I could have built another guy there next turn. Yeah, so I'm gonna move all these guys into the fort, and then that'll be my choke point to hold them off. I got this guy here, but kill him with my swordsman. He's just a warrior, and now I can get gunpowder. Alright, I'm not building any more archers. I got musketmen now. short on gold. Get rid of him. I'm not building any more forts. I might try and build the pyramids. I'm gonna save that. I need 26 more points, which is not a little bit. That's quite a few points still. I'm not that close to winning yet. I could try and build wonders. I could try and grow my cities. I could try to attack somebody. I think Sparta's really vulnerable down here. I should probably attack Sparta. In fact, I'm gonna send this guy down here. I think this one guy will be able to hold off China at the fort here. I meant to save my musketman. Oh well. Yeah, I still get him back. It's just I gotta wait till I draw him again. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. Makes it, my maintenance costs are so much better now because I built a courthouse in both these cities. I already had the road here, but these guys, I mean, I also have these guys stationed in a city now, so they shouldn't have any maintenance, or they have 1 gold maintenance because they're in a city. All right, and this guy took care of that warrior, so I'm moving back up here and try and kill this settler. I don't know what this settler's doing. This must be a bot trying to do something stupid. I don't know where he thinks he's going. It's probably some unclaimed territory down here, and he's trying to mosey all the way down here. But I'm not gonna let him go by. And move my spearman next to Sparta. I don't think taking Sparta will be enough to win, but it'll get me pretty close. And I can do that and build some wonders. That'll probably be enough. So, which wonders should I could build? Temple of Diana, or I could build pyramids. Pyramids gives you more border growth. Temple of Diana completely removes gold maintenance costs for a city's population. So I think I'm gonna do that in Athens, even though I did already put that courthouse there, which kind of makes it a waste. Gold. I think my biggest problem right now is still gold. Because that's probably, I mean, I know that the reason for that is because I didn't put any cities on the coast. Well, actually, I had iron right here. I don't know how I missed that. Oh, I destroyed my mind. So I didn't put any cities on the coast, and putting workers on water hexes is the main way to get gold. You can see each water hex has a 2 gold yield. So I knew that was going to be a problem, but it seems like we'll be okay in spite of it. And because I'm so short on gold, I can't take advantage of a trade market really much either. Oh, he's going, yeah. Okay, he regrouped. That could be a problem. I gotta get... I don't think I'm gonna be able to hold this off. At least not with what I have now. So, I need to try and win before this guy breaks through. Alright, so he's got 2 archers and a swordsman. And again, I should have not discarded my musket man. That was not smart. Because I didn't draw him again yet. Alright, I can buff up this guy with I'll give him Divine Favor, gives him 3 strength. I'll give him the strength promotion. So he's at 15 now, and he's in the fort, and he's fortified. So he might be able to hold that off. We'll see. most importantly, we're trying to take Sparta. Alright, so I'm going to put the Berserker buff on the Spearman in case he builds a guy here before I can attack. The Berserker buff lets him attack twice in a turn. So if he puts, puts like a guy that I can't quite kill with one hit, I'll attack him twice as long as my guy doesn't die on the first attack. Just in case I can't get it, I put a road here so I can get guys over here faster. This would be cool if I could build a great wall, but I don't have. You really need stone. There's one for sale. I need 3 though. I'll go ahead and save it just in case. I mean, I'd say I have all the science now that I'll try to sell it. Maybe somebody will buy it and I'll get gold. Let's see what I do here. Oh, I'm just going to fortify it. Oh, damn, I'm not going to try and take London. There's too much going on up there. I don't have. These guys are all weak. He's only got 1 health left. They, they fought in those battles and took damage, and they also were short on supplies for a little bit. They took damage from that. There we go. So yes. This guy's almost dead. He held out though. It would have been better to have a crossbowman in the 4 heads. The spearman's really for killing cavalry, but it was all I had. So he got 2 health left. Alright, let's capture Sparta. See how many points that gets us to. Alright, 93. So I need 7 more points. And I need to not lose it to this guy right now. So I want to build another guy here. But there's only 1 population right now, and military units consume a population. So I'm going to feed the city 3 food to grow it to 2. And then I'll put the swordsman down there. Or, you know what I could do? Just build a great wall, and that'll give me 7 points. I think I can do both. Alright, great wall. Alright, 7 points. I'm at 101. So, as long as I don't lose something this turn, which each of your guys is worth a point. So what I've had happen before is I think I'm going to win, and then I'll have 3 guys die during the fighting after you end your turn, and then end up not winning that turn. All right, so I want 5 hammers to try and put a swordsman in Sparta. So I got to destroy some stuff. So I'm going to destroy that. I'm not building any more courthouses. I don't think I need attack strength anymore. All right, let's put a swordsman there. And they're gonna have unrest because of how short on gold they are, but that's alright. I'll save the musketman and the forge guard. So he did manage to break through there, but it's too late. I'm already going to win this turn. Let's take a look at the map. All right, so I was in first, and then it was the Aztecs and China. Actually, who's the other player? It's China. Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, he probably should have attacked England instead of me. He probably could have taken York. He probably could have taken London too. Greece, the Aztecs were doing really well over here. They were, yeah, okay, so they conquered one of Arabia's cities, and they just built a bunch of cities too. They're all pretty small, though. I don't know if he built many wonders either. He had one at Hanging Gardens in Tenochtitlan. And so that was I don't know, the turn time or the game time was up there in the top left, and the game was 35 minutes, which that's about, I'd say it's about average for a multiplayer game. Sometimes, I mean, they vary a lot. Sometimes somebody will just run away with it early, and it'll be over in 20 minutes. Usually they're like 30 to 40 minutes, and sometimes you get a lot of back and forth at the end, where someone can't quite get to 100 points, and because somebody takes one of their cities at the last second, and they can go for a while. Eventually, the turn timer or the turn limit will cut it off at 30 turns. That almost never happens. Somebody will usually get to 100 points before then. All right, so that was a daily challenge game and a multiplayer game, and I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what Hexarchy is all about. We got a Kickstarter launching on March 14th. You can see the game's already, it's already very playable. It's pretty stable. There's still a lot of things we want to do though. We'd like to just do a 1.0 release and not an early access release. So we're going to do the Kickstarter on March 14th to try and fund the rest of the development to get us to 1.0. And part of one of the main reward tiers for that will be access to the game immediately after the campaign ends. So if you wanted to play that'll be the full version of the game. Whatever the latest stable build is, and you'll have it for the rest of development. It should be about a year after the Kickstarter ends. You'll have full access for the rest of development, and you'll also own the game once it's released. Once the 1.0 version is released, if you back the Kickstarter at the reward tier for that. So that's our development plan. Things we want to add. You can see the tech tree is not all the way built out. A lot of it's missing over on the right over here, which is where the culture focused texts are. You have philosophy, and then it just stops. There's going to be quite a bit more stuff down here. And part of that is, so there'll be probably 4 or 5 more wonders. And part of that is also that the influence system is missing right now, which is the other main use for culture. Right now, all culture really does is expand your borders, which is important. But influence is going to be the other part of that. And the way that's going to work is when you produce culture in the city, it exerts influence based on the distance from that city to other enemy cities. And if you exert enough influence on other civs, you get an influential bonus with that civ that gives you a bunch of different benefits. One of them being you get access to their civ ability, you'll get vision for everything that they can see, and it'll also give you 10% of their points. So it's another way to get additional points from culture instead of just conquest. And we might have to rebalance some stuff with the points around that, since that'll be a pretty sizable source of points that's not in the game right now. I think we'll probably have to reduce the points from some of the wonders a little bit. So that's one of the main things coming. We want to put an emote system in the game so that you can you won't be able to chat, because I think part of the fun when you play with your friends is not knowing who's who. And it's only an hour, so it's not like that's something you can't do. You could play with a group of friends and then chat about it afterwards. It'll be up to you how you want to do that in private games. But we want an emote system so you can threaten people and like denounce people, things like just fun things like that, just to make it a little more interactive. So those are two of the main things that we still need to add. There's UI improvements, other graphical improvements that we have in mind. There's more artwork that we need done. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we have planned. And we encourage anybody watching to get on our Discord. That's got a pretty large community out there. We have a lot of Discord integrations built into the game. Anytime you make a public game, it puts a announcement on a channel in there with the code to join the game. Anytime a multiplayer game completes with 2 or more players that are on Discord in the game, it posts the results on a channel in there. The daily challenges, whoever gets the high score for the challenge gets a special role, the daily champion role on the Discord. So we're trying to foster the community growth through Discord, so we encourage everybody to get on there. All right, if anybody's got any questions, drop them in chat, but I'm going to probably switch this back to the recording loop that we got planned for the festival. And, oh yeah, the demo, we won't take it down just yet. We'll probably leave it with multiplayer and daily challenges enabled for at least a few more days. We're not exactly sure when we're going to take it down yet, or if we're going to take it down all the way, or if we're just going to disable the extra Steam Festival modes that we put in there, and those being multiplayer and daily challenges. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. If you've checked out our game, we'd love to hear your feedback. If you haven't checked it out, we encourage you to do so. It's a lot going on in the demo. It's not quite a full game that we have so far, but it's pretty close for the festival, because we really want people to try out as much of it as possible. All right, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching.